So I want to talk about something, and this is more of the Ford situation, right? So Ford is getting rid of pretty much most every one of their sedans. Well, they really are getting rid of everyone's sedans. The only thing they're going to keep is the Mustang and the Focus active there, or the yeah. So besides that, right? So they're getting rid of almost every one of their sedans. Um, And one of the reasons why they said they're going to get rid of all their sedans is the fact that they don't make a lot of money. One of the things that I read somewhere along the lines is that Ford Motor Company makes about bus, really? I'm on the line. Anyway, well, so they make about 8% of the cars themselves. So there's not a lot of margin that they make. Um, so it kind of makes sense. It makes sense to kind of stop a line, especially in North America. Now, they're all complaining about the Ford car, the Ford, they're getting rid of the Ford cars, the Fusion, and I read one tweet where one lady was talking about that she'll never buy a Ford ever again because they're getting rid of the Fusion, and she loves the Fusion. Will always bought the Fusion. Obviously can't now, but and I'm thinking, okay, you're one lady, sure. Uh, there's going to be one or two people that are going to be mad. There's going to be more than one, too, but there's going to be people that are mad about getting rid of this. As a company standpoint, if you're not making a lot of money off of it, it makes sense to get rid of it. So if you like the company and you want them to be around, well, yeah, you're going to want them to survive. Plus, you go and buy one of their other products. They do have a lot of different lines on their products. So go and buy one of those if you really like the company so much. Don't just pick one product. You don't like the company if you only pick one product. You like the company if you can go and buy multiple of their product, not just one. Yeah, can you see it now? Like right now I'm driving a Chevy Malibu. And I love my car, and I love Chevy's cars altogether. I'm not a big fan of the trucks, but besides the point, with Ford getting rid of all this, other companies now have already kind of gone through and said they're going to get rid of stuff. GM's CFO kind of came out and said that they're not too far on getting rid of some of their sedans. So what sedans are they getting rid of? I know they don't make a lot of money on any of their vehicles, really, because of paying their unions, the people themselves, which is good. And I'm glad to see that. But as a company, it can hurt. How are they able to sustain? Um, I also read that Honda is not selling the Accord, so we might see an X of the Honda Accord. Um, we're getting to that. We're getting to the age where a lot of people they either don't care for driving, they don't care a lot about cars. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who still care about vehicles, which I'm a huge car fanatic and huge car guy. Yes, I know some of you are probably gonna say I'm driving a Chevy Malibu and I'm a car guy, but I love my cars. So there's a difference. Um, so with being or with them getting rid of their cars, it is a good move. Plus, for me personally, um, I don't see a lot of Ford cars on the road anyway. At least not here in the Northeast. I'm sure maybe someone else um, can go through and vouch for Ford cars being in those areas. Um, so, but here, there's not a lot of Ford cars. It goes with saying that Toyota Camry is the best-selling sedan in the U.S. And I see quite a lot of them, quite a lot. So this is something that I think a lot of the American car companies, and I'm saying American car companies because Toyota is pretty much almost an American car company as much as Ford and GM these days. But I'm talking about the companies that are actually based in the U.S. Fully, their headquarters is here in the United States. there is a lot that they can learn from a lot of other companies around the world. And there's a lot that they do need to do with their vehicles because there's a lot more competition now. Um, yeah, with Ford getting rid of their vehicles and their cars, as a company standpoint, I think it's a very good idea. Um, because first off, I don't see a lot of their vehicles on the road, even being here in the Northeast. Um, so it goes to show that they're not selling their vehicles. Next time you drive out, go take a look at what vehicles are out on the road. See if you can see any Ford cars. I'm sure you're going to be able to see a couple cars. And the two big cars, and I'm taking SUVs and trucks out of this picture, I'm talking about sedans, the actual cars, maybe a hatchback or whatnot. It's two cars I just saw, and one's right in front of me, which is the Focus and the Mustang. Those are really the only two Ford cars that I see. I don't see any other ones. Fusion, I see it now and then. Plus, to me, it looks like a knockoff Aston Martin in the front end. So, yeah. And then there's a lot of talk that the company. I saw the company. There, people were talking about all the companies going down, the companies failing. This car companies right now. I mean, there's a lot that's going on. There's a lot that's coming out, especially with self-driving vehicles that are coming out, electric cars that are coming through. There's a lot that's in play, and there's the industry's changing, so they have to change with the industry. There is a lot of, I hate saying millennials because I am technically by age and sometimes mentality a millennial, but um, that age bracket, a lot of those people aren't they're not driving. There are two people that I know off the top of my head that actually there's more than two. It's quite like 6 or 7 people that don't drive. They don't have a license, never had a license, or didn't want to get a license. Um, so since of that, they since they don't want to get a license and they're not driving, well, that is people that are technically off of the road of buying or off the market for buying a vehicle, any vehicle at that matter. It's new and used. So with having that, you're gonna your market's gonna be dwindled, sure, for a lot. So there's Ford making that decision. To be honest with you, as a company standpoint, is great. They're going to they're not gonna have to worry so much. Now I know they're Xing a lot of vehicles, and if they're Xing this line because it doesn't make them a lot of money, which I can see, my question is, are they getting rid of the Ford GT? That's a big one. I was talking to somebody about this, my brother, for instance, and I was thinking that maybe that's not even in the picture because it's kind of a whole another ball game in car or vehicle line. But yeah, I'm curious if they're going to X that out because I personally don't want to. I love the vehicle. I don't care for the company, but I love the vehicle. So yeah, Ford making that decision, and other companies, they're going to start following suit. GM, like I said, the CFO for GM, um, they've already stated that he's already stated publicly that they're not too far behind. Um, I think I read an article where it was talking about some of the vehicles, and them not making a lot or they're not selling a lot. Um, the vehicles I personally think are going to go soon, very soon, a lot of Chrysler, if not Chrysler altogether. So you're not going to really start seeing any Chrysler cars. I mean, the 300 is the one that I'm thinking off the top of my head. Um, I don't remember the last time I saw it on the road. Now, granted, I'm not looking for it, and I'm trying to pay attention. Obviously, I'm not right now. I'm kind of paying attention to you, but the road at the same time. That since that's really the only thing I can think off the top of my head. But I don't see those. So yeah, I don't know. The car industry is changing, and it's me personally, I think it's changing for the good because there's a lot that's coming out. There's a lot that's coming into the industry, going out and in the industry, that is going to help um, that industry itself. And I'm very curious as a car enthusiast, to see what happens in the very near future with cars and um, vehicles alike. Um, so yeah, going back to Ford, um, one of the things I was reading that was, I think it was 1 year they made 30,000 of one particular car. I don't know if it was the Fusion or whatnot. But and I know I keep going to the Fusion because that is a big Ford car. I mean, it is in NASCAR. It is in different things along those lines. I don't watch it, but it is there. Um, so with that, they, for instance, they don't. What was it? What was? Oh, so they were selling. They sold 30,000 cars. I was trying to think of it. Some guy was stuck in front of me, and I'm trying to get him to go. Just wondering what was going on. I was kind of lost my train of thought, to be honest with you. Looking back to that, they made like 30,000 cars, and they sold like 15. That's half of the vehicles they made. Now, is that a fault on their end? I don't know. Maybe it was the year prior they sold just as much, if not a little bit more, or a little less, and they wanted to make sure they kept up with demand. That's a contributing factor on the vehicles themselves. So it's going to get crazy. The car market itself is going to change. Um, we're going to start seeing a lot of cars in the very near future, leaving a lot of lineups. And I'm not talking about just American companies, but other companies as well. Honda, Toyota. Um, you might see the bigger brands like Mercedes and BMW start cutting things too. So you never know. And to be honest with you, as a consumer, those things are hard to track, to figure out what cars they have. I hate their systems for naming cars. I think it's god awful. That needs redone altogether. It is so hard to figure out what's what and who's who and where's where and whatnot. I have no idea. It's crazy. But on that note, Ford, like I said, there's a lot that's going to be changing in the industry itself. So we'll see what happens. But go through. Make sure you guys put a comment in there. I want to see what you think about the Ford in general. What you think Ford's going to do with it, as well as some of the other companies. Maybe there's something else that I didn't see that you might have seen that is going over some of these other companies, and see what they're doing. And I want to see that in the comments below. Also, make sure you go through and you hit that subscribe button, get subscribed to my channel, and so you guys can see more of these videos and more of me just kind of talking away, and what I've seen and what I think. Other than that, take care.